Thanks, Yutha. Hi, Victor. Hi, Martin. Oh, Martin's on the phone.
Thanks, Yutha. Have a good evening.
Have a good night.
Okay. Here we go with the agenda. And I'll share my screen. Request transcription be enabled. Enable.
Hey, Alana.
Alana makes 5.
Very good, man.
Yep.
Hi,
Hi.
how's everybody doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. I have a new iPhone, so I'm still trying to learn my way around Zoom on here. So if I unmute by accident, I'm sorry.
No worries. They do not send directions anymore with all these new gadgets.
Yep.
Can
Their
everyone see
motto
the
is figure it out
agenda?
on your own.
Yes.
Thank you. One, 2, 3, 4.
And Daria, I emailed you my report earlier. I have to be off by 6:40 because I'm here to announce a soccer match at Baker Field tonight. So I already placed my report in its entirety in the chat box for everyone to read.
Okay.
Thank you.
So why don't we call the meeting to attention? And Jonathan, you said that you can fill in until we elect the secretary.
Yes, I'm doing that as we speak.
Thank you. You are the best.
30,
We're gonna call the-
6:35.
Sorry.
It's 6:35, so.
Yeah, let's
Yep.
call the meeting to attention,
Okay.
6:35. And let's skip directly to community updates if no one has well, first of all, we need to adopt the agenda. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda? Has everybody had a chance to look it over? And are there any changes or additions? Oh, Jonathan, we need to add, what were we talking about?
You were doing the community benefits.
Yeah, the community benefits agreement
Okay, so
We will add
where do you
that.
want that to fall
Under new business.
new business? Okay.
Or no, that'd
Let's
probably
take
be
over.
old business, don't you think?
Yeah,
Old business.
okay, you got it.
Okay. Motion to adopt with necessary changes. Is there a motion?
So move.
Wait, Vic, are we allowed to even vote on the minutes since we don't have a quorum?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so let's not vote. Let's skip directly to our community updates. Martin, take it away.
Hi, Daria. So I want to
Hi.
let everybody know very quickly that the Northern Manhattan Arts Alliance had an outstanding Uptown Art Stroll. The closing, which many of you attended, was at the United Palace on the evening of June 30th with about 200 people there. And I tell you, it was a great, great evening. And we could have stayed till midnight, but they had to kick us out at 9. And I'm very happy with what was in that. First in-person Uptown Art Stroll in 3 years with about 250 events, roughly 3/8 of them, 37.5%, almost 40% of the events were in West Harlem. There were a variety of events from dance to theater to visual and performing arts, and we're looking forward to what will be a wonderful 2023 Uptown Art Stroll with our partner in the journey for the 21st Uptown Art Stroll next year, the West Harlem Arts Alliance. At the present time, we have what's called the Graham Uptown. It's a virtual social media source photography exhibition, which West Harlem, Washington Heights, and Inwood photographers on Instagram can enter and highlight the beauty, history, and vibrancy of Upper Manhattan, produced by the Uptown Collective and NOMA. The exhibition will be on view at our gallery, 4140 Broadway and West 175th Street, starting on October 6th. We will take the entries for another 10 days, and then I believe the 27th of September is the deadline to submit on Instagram your photos and videos for us to consider for the exhibition. And you can see the chat box. I have placed the link for more information along with our current newsletter in the first paragraph in the chat box. And then you can come and see our exhibit, which will again debut on the evening of October 6th, probably from 6 to 9 p.m. On site, 4140 Broadway and West 175th Street. We'll have some eats and drinks and some wonderful entertainment that evening. So I hope you will join us on October 6th for the debut of our The Graham Uptown social media sourced photography exhibit. And finally, you can see the link that's in the second paragraph in the chat box of my post. That link has more information about NOMA programs, upcoming programs, those that are anticipated and currently underway, planned, and anticipated at the Northern Manhattan Arts Alliance, all at nomanyc.org. That's NOMAANYC.org. Anyone with any information or questions or comments or anything that you'd like to share, you can do so. My email, telephone number, and our website are all there in the chat box. Welcome back, everyone. Hope you had a great summer.
Thank you, Martin. Martin has to run. Does anybody have any questions for him? Anyone?
Thank you all.
Thanks so much. What is our attendance looking like? Has anyone else gotten on? 1, 2, 3, 4,
No,
5, still just 5 of us. Okay, so we can move on to introductions. We just want to welcome our new co-chair and we wanted to welcome our new committee members, but looks like none of them made it tonight. So we can give all the love to our new co-chair, Jonathan.
thank you, thank you. Thank you.
Jonathan, you want to say anything?
Well, it's always a pleasure, I hope we can, I'm good. I really look forward to this coming year, working with you all. So I think we can get some good things done.
I look forward to it too.
So, yeah. So,
So everybody, you can see who our 4 new members are. They're not here. Hopefully we will be seeing them soon. Announcements. I have no announcement. Jonathan, do you, or does anyone have any committee announcements?
well, I do have somewhat of an update. I do have an update, not somewhat, on the West Harlem Arts Alliance.
Okay, so that's if we don't have any announcements, because that's the next thing on the agenda, I guess.
Yeah, I don't have any announcements.
Okay,
so-
let's skip forward to that.
Okay. So in terms of the West Harlem Arts Alliance, if you all remember, this was an organization that was initiated by this committee and with the support of WHDC to represent, to support the artists and arts community specifically in West Harlem. So last year they did establish the organization. There's a website, and the 3 committee members, Victoria Benitez, Martin Michael Unthank, and Michael Palma were the founding directors. I spoke today with Michael Palma, who extends his apologies for not being able to make tonight's meeting. And we discussed the following. They have formed a board of directors. There is a list which we can make part of this, the minutes for this meeting. He also announced that there's going to be a meeting with the Commissioner of Cultural Affairs, Ms. Kumbo, on the 28th, where leaders of the arts community are going to meet with her up at the Audubon Ballroom. That announcement will be distributed hopefully by the community, this community board's office in the next few days. They are still in the process of meeting the requirements for establishing, meeting the state and federal requirements for a 501c3. He also said that he's negotiating for space and a staff person to kind of have a place for the organization. And he will have more on that next month. We did discuss the role of the community benefits agreement in funding the organization, both in its space requirements and possibly staffing. So as a committee, we should perhaps follow up on this in the next month or so. The other things we talked about is that they are in the process of creating a database of artists and art organizations in West Harlem. He did mention, and we've been through this before, this database that was on the community board website or something. And that seems to have disappeared. So we have to, I promised him, I didn't promise, I said that I would give my best effort to try to dig that up to see what happened to it, if it's accessible. And so that's one source of a listing for community artists. We did agree that the effort for this organization should be collaborative, that we should work together towards building it, and that we need to set goals for the organization, which he said they're going to meet with the board, the full board for the organization in next month, and come up with goals for the year for the organization, what they can accomplish. And that was about it. So I'll put all that in the minutes so we can go over it.
Did anybody have
Any
any questions?
questions, answers? I don't know.
They were going to be funded by the I think it's the cab. What's funding them? What is their source for being
Well,
able?
right now there is no source in quotes. WHDC has not committed, but they have agreed to help fund, like provide seed money for this organization. Now, I would encourage everybody to go to the community benefits agreement, the arts and cultures specifically, because there are provisions in the agreement to provide funding for certain community organizations. So I'm not sure if WHDC is going to access those funds or they're going to come from another source. Michael Palma said that he was looking at various, looking to various organizations to help fund WHA, but he was not specific. That's what I know.
So they don't have a location. They do have a board, and they're seeking funding now, and they're still questionable about their tax exempt status?
Well, it's not questionable. I think that it's not clear how much effort, where they are in the process of obtaining the 501c3. I know it's a lengthy process. It was started back in the spring of this year, I believe,
Uh-huh, I remember that.
right? So where they are in in terms of realizing that, I am not sure. We would have to ask Michael Umthank or Michael Palmer. Victoria Benitez, who is on the community board and is member of this committee, is also a board of director, a director on this organization, WHAA. I last spoke to her in June. I know she was changing positions. She's going from Columbia University to Lincoln Center. So Michael was going to reach out to her. But right now, it's, they are really still in the midst of, formation, really. It's like, they got the board, but now they're going to meet. I think he said they had a meeting of the board in August. So I think they're going to, one of the Michaels or Victoria would present something at our next meeting, which would be in October.
Could we have a person that is a conduit between that organization and our organization? Is it possible?
Yeah,
So we can
anything's
work with
possible.
both.
I was tasked with being a liaison between the committee and the WHA. I've reached out. I've actually reached out. Michael Palmer is actually responsive. He does respond. Victoria, I spoke to her in June. She hasn't responded since. I don't think her email addresses are actually current. Michael Umthank, he's with the Harlem Arts Alliance. I have not talked to him since May. So I think it is, it's an issue that we need better communication. I agree.
Yeah.
Right, and when there are meetings, we should be present. Or at least
Well,
invited.
it's to be honest, Tina, it's a fine line because, we're not, we're a facilitator and we do have, on the other hand, we do have representatives that sit on the board of WHDC. Is it unreasonable to have a community board member sit on the board of WHAA? Maybe not. Maybe we should pursue that. I don't know.
Well, sorry to interrupt, but if I may interject, that was brought up. And I believe we talked about that at the May or June meeting. I believe it was the June meeting. And they were saying that they were going to have a board member from the community board. However, I literally heard that in the wind. I didn't hear it directly from them. It would stand to reason that since the resolution came out of this committee and all, we're the spark that started the fire, so to speak, that we would have a bit more information, and that it wouldn't be so hard to get the information, and that at the very least, if there was going to be something like that, a board member being on their board, that the Arts and Culture Committee would have been at least notified, if not having one of our members tapped to be that board member. It's been a difficult getting the information. I was thinking, and I have a neighbor who actually had been considering starting an arts organization as well. And I don't know. I wonder, in terms of our community, do we need more than one? You know what I mean? Should we? Because this all kind of started out of this committee. And if we're not able to get information, then I don't know. I wonder if we might also reach out to the community and see who else is in this business as well. And not to, not just shun them aside, but the more people we have working for us and the more people who are bringing us information and who are working for us, I think the better. Let me know your thoughts.
Well, yeah, go ahead, Tina.
Go ahead.
I think it doesn't hurt to bring in people to discuss this issue. They'll have a unique perspective. They're kind of in the community. It seems that, if I didn't reach out to Michael, the way I feel, to be quite honest, if I didn't reach out to Michael Palmer, I wouldn't have known about this meeting with the commissioner. I mean,
Right.
he didn't send anything to the district office, and, he's a community board member. And, I think that, I don't want to be contentious, I don't want to, that's the last thing. I told him I want to be a facilitator, but it's hard to facilitate if the table's empty, you're the only one at the table. So, it's very peculiar. I find it's very peculiar. So I would welcome any effort to kind of move things along. I don't know. I was a little bit taken back by the fact that they had a meeting and they didn't, acknowledge that they're having this meeting to you, or, someone,
Yeah.
it's not like we're inaccessible.
Yeah.
So,
And it's not as if it wasn't previously discussed.
right.
Yeah.
So I don't know why that is. I could give it to them where, that was the first meeting of the full board and yada, yada, but, still, we're part of the process here. We're like you said, Daria, we're the ones that this committee, you started this whole business.
Jonathan, when this first came about, they were having meetings, like general meetings for folks, I guess to inform and to let them know what they were going to do. And I attended like 2 of them. And I think the last time Uptank was on our meeting, he said, "Oh, we're sorry, but we're going to expand that list." That was a long time ago. So, I'm just from the curiosity standpoint, just to know what they're doing. I'd like to be involved too. So just, I guess, and it's not as an official liaison or that type of thing, but just.
No,
As a community member.
Yeah.
Walter,
Yeah.
may I ask how you found out about those meetings? Because
There was some emails circulated. I think when they first started, they talked about the inception, how this was going to go about.
are you
And
talking about the ones that were in the summertime before?
this was a while ago. This was a long time ago. And I think I went to 2 meetings. I mentioned that to him the last time he was on our meeting. And he says, "Oh yeah, well, we're going to start that back up again." And that was the end of that. So.
Okay. Well, I don't want to stay all night on this because it
Yeah.
seems like, you know, a lot of unanswered questions that we can't answer. So unless somebody has something else pressing to say, if we, Jonathan, thank you for, you know, staying on this. And I know if there's information to be gotten, you'll get it.
Well, I don't, I don't want to belabor this, but I don't mind going back to Michael Palmer and saying, hey, you know, we had this kind of understanding that we would be included and notified and sort of brought into the conversation and see what his reaction would be, you know, I mean, you know, I think my conversations with him have been very reasonable, so I have no reason to think that he would, you know, feel, you know, I'm, you know, insulting him. I just think we need to get it out, you know, speak it out, saying, hey, what's going on? So, you know, in a nice way, anyway.
Well, I think
Okay.
that's a great idea. I think that's a great idea. To just, maybe you just have to say it like you said, and we'll see what happens.
Okay, all right,
More next month.
yeah.
The next thing on the agenda is the aid committee. Tina
Can
and
we call that something else?
aid. It's not AIDS, it's aid. Artist
Good one,
aid.
Tina.
It's aid for artists.
Oh, that's good. AFA. That's better, you know.
Yeah, we can, listen, why do y'all not like aid? I thought it turned out well and it wasn't even on.
Where it came from. We roll with it, but I mean, it's not great sounding.
Listen, we'll
AFA sounds
give us their
great.
name later.
Yeah. All right.
Well, last week we met with, Walter and I met with Jen Beezer from the Manhattan Alliance.
Arts
and,
Alliance, yeah. Mhm.
Arts Alliance, and she's been in the community for a number of years and she knows a number of organizations, and she graciously agreed to augment our listing. I forwarded her our most recent listing of both artists, which is very, very light, and arts organizations. And hopefully we'll hear from her sometime soon. But we don't have like a plethora of different methods of obtaining new artists or new arts organizations. So if anyone has suggestions, that would be great. Another aspect of this is the whole purpose of this is to be able to send out communication to the organizations and to the artists directly of opportunities, be it funding, be it classes, be it whatever that could be done to serve our artists in this community. And we hear of stuff piecemeal. So if there is a more cohesive way to obtain that information, that would be good as well. And maybe that can be a point for added to our agenda for our next meeting.
Tina, I sympathize because that's one of those things that has always been on my mind since I joined the community board. When I first joined, I asked them about even getting information out about particular things that come to us in terms of grants and that sort of thing, and also our own events. We asked them if we could start a Facebook page, and the answer was no, we could only post on the MCB9 Facebook page, which has no action because it has no, you have to have an algorithm. You have to post in order for people to even see your stuff when you do post. So I wonder, and I'm actually wondering if something like an app or something like that. And I don't know if anybody on here knows how to build an app, but perhaps back to the handy dandy community benefits agreement, perhaps we can start thinking about looking at some 21st century ways to obtain and also to disseminate the information. I think that probably by now there may be different answers than I got 5 years ago in terms of how we are allowed to, because hopefully we're catching up a little bit with technology. Yeah, I'm really thinking something like an app. I don't know what everybody else thinks about that, but would something like that possibly be helpful to you, Tina, you think?
The
Yeah,
app is
we'll-
great, but we
yeah.
also need the listing of people to send. And young people now, they use Instagram and they text. They don't really even use email that much.
Yeah, that's why I was
So,
thinking email, an app or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, including Instagram. Yes.
So I don't know, but that's all great to be able, that's the method of disseminating. We also have to have the stuff to disseminate.
To put in the information, put in the app. Mhm.
Yeah.
So we need it from all fronts. We need information from all fronts.
Right.
Both.
But this is why, I'm sorry, Tina, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Jonathan.
But this is why we were, creating this organization to do all this, we even, they set up a website, but the website is probably the saddest thing I've ever seen. To be honest with you, I mean, I don't know. And I actually asked Michael, I said, can't we hire someone to do something with this website, like we're just talking here? Hire like a student from City College or something, so we can, be a little tech savvy. It's like none of us are going to do it, but and he didn't. I don't know, that conversation didn't get very far today, but I think that we need to pursue something like that, to have a young person create something for this purpose. I mean, there has to be people in this community that I can't imagine. You just ride a bus and you see these young people texting and doing all sorts of things. It's amazing.
Yeah. I think
So,
that we need to have a real discussion. We'll put that on the agenda for next month.
okay.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I don't know how to do the raise hand thing on this app. So can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay, great.
Yes.
Is there anything in the community benefits agreement about maybe like getting some resources from Columbia to do that?
Well, there's a lot there. I mean, I think, I encourage everybody really to go to the CBA, the Community Benefits Agreement, and comb through it. It's pretty dense, convoluted. Alana, you're a lawyer, right? You can parse it.
Yep.
Maybe you would be good at that, but it could be, yes, I think there are things that we could, my own personal feeling from my own reading of the CBA would we can find stuff and there's, request WHDC to act upon.
Right.
I mean, I think Victor Edwards, I don't know if he's still on here,
No.
but
Oh,
he's
yes,
very,
he's still here. He's still
he's
here.
very involved with Columbia and kind of getting them to the table to discuss the CBA. So I think it's worth a shot. I mean, you know, it's worth a shot.
Yeah, I think, so Walter and Tina, we will put that on the agenda for next month to, have a whole discussion about ideas. Everyone, please, think about, do some research of, ways that we can do this. And, also, as Jonathan was saying, we're gonna have a whole discussion later in the meeting about the CBA. So, we'll get back into it. So the next thing on the agenda is our community updates, which we already did, which was Martin Collins. Presentations, we have none tonight. We have no visitors unless, nope, we have none. We have 2 visitors actually, but we don't have any presentations. New business, committee secretary appointment. I moved that we, well, I can't move, but I'm wondering if we'd like to table this for next month when possibly our new members might be here.
Sounds great.
And it might be the first thing on the agenda. And that way that whoever is appointed or takes the position
Yeah,
could start that month.
yeah. So we will table that discussion for next month. And also the RKO liaison. I think we should table that as well. Unless there's someone here who would like to volunteer to be the RKO liaison.
I've been attending the meetings. I haven't got anything. I just sent him an email. I haven't heard anything from Dan over the summer at all.
Me either. And
Yeah.
the 3 of us, Anita, Walter and myself, we were working with him with DCLA and other organizations, and then it just sort of stopped. He had a bunch of personal
Situations.
situations.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Did, well, Walter, would you like to be the liaison?
Well, I'm taking on another task, but sure, no, I really want to know. I'm really interested in this project. Sure.
Okay,
I can,
I'm in
I can
it with-
share that.
Walter, I'll do it with you.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
good,
so will
good.
I.
Me
Like,
too.
Okay.
I go to most
Oh,
of the
who's that?
things.
Yolanda, that was you?
Yep, yeah, because I was
Good.
on the committee too, so.
All right, so we'll be
Yeah.
another what, subcommittee meeting?
Yeah,
You
I'm
have a
down
nice
with
day?
it.
You have a
Yeah.
nice
Y'all
day
didn't
for us,
like that.
Daria?
Yeah, I'm
Daria, have
down
a
with
nice-
it as well, because I live right around the corner, so when they do
Okay.
walkthroughs and things, I'm always,
All right. You have a
so,
nice name for us, Daria?
no, since you're gonna be leading this subcommittee, you can, you come up with one that you like,
We'll come up with something. Yeah, sure, okay.
right? I mean, we call it the RKO task force, but do y'all like that?
That's great.
That's fine.
That's
Okay.
great.
The last thing that, and we have sort of talked about it, during the meeting, is about the CBA. And it's, we should have added as well, just a small discussion, and I think I probably should have said it in announcements, that next month, definitely, we will be talking about our goals for the year. So please be thinking on that. And we also need to be doing our budget. I don't want to be last on the budget. I want to come in thinking about it and look really good, like we're not the last people or not at the last minute, and really think on these things, because I believe that the CBA discussion is hand in hand with the budget discussion.
Daria, do you think that it might be a good idea to have a subcommittee on the CBA and maybe appoint people now that are interested, and they can meet and come up with some suggestions for next month, by next month?
Well, from my understanding, that should affect all of the subcommittees. So it should not just be arts and culture. It should be someone from just about every group because it affects all
Yeah,
of them.
but
Right,
that's
well,
not, but
we're doing it from an arts and culture
Oh, I
bent.
got you. I got you. I
We're
hear
we're just
you.
looking at it from that perspective,
I hear
which
you.
means it's not mammoth. We're just looking at that part.
I got you. Got you.
there is an arts and culture section, so I like the thought of that, Tina. Jonathan, Walter,
Yeah.
Ilana, what are your
Would
thoughts?
you guys be interested in meeting before next month and like, doing a deep dive? It's
Uh,
not that many pages. If I remember correctly, it's like 5. I could be wrong.
Well, yeah,
I think that's a good idea.
I'd be glad to, um,
mhm.
Oh, we just got a new member. Carlton Davis just signed on. 7, so I'm gonna now call the meeting to order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do we have 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I'm gonna call the meeting to order at 7:14 PM.
okay.
And now that we have a quorum, could we, is there a motion to adopt the agenda with the necessary additions?
So move.
Walter moves. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Seconded by Jonathan.
And that's the, we're adding,
The agenda with the addition of the CBA. Can you put CBA slash goals and it's the CBA slash goals slash budgeting conversation? Because the conversation, I think they all go together, and it's really that we need to think about it and take a deep dive, and perhaps before, but Tina, I think whoever has a TV on in the background, could you please mute? Okay.
okay, I had a community benefits agreement, review, goals and conversation.
Yeah.
Okay,
And well, and budget, add budgeting on there.
okay, I'll put that, yeah.
Okay. Carlton Davis, hello, welcome.
Thank you. How you doing?
I'm good. Happy to have you. Would it be possible to come on camera for a second and introduce yourself?
Sure, hang on.
Okay. I know Zoom, no telling what's behind the black square sometimes, so.
Well, no, I just got in from being on tour, school tour with my kids.
Oh,
Yeah, so just coming out from the area. Okay.
well, welcome to Community Board 9 Arts and Culture Committee.
Thank you.
Can you give us a little background, like how long you've been in the community? What do you do for a living? Give us a little intro, please.
Well, my family been here for about 49 years. So I've been away for a while back in the late 80s through 2000 as a federal service military. And I was assistant head of recruiting manuals for ComNav FUCOM instructions. So we did military programs. So I took that and brought it here. When I came home, I stayed home, helped my moms and everything. And I met my wife. We've been married for 16 out of 17 years now. And I just took programs and transferred from military to civilian and brought it here. So I worked with Miss Ann McIver, Catherine Garcia's mother, who ran for mayor. I worked with her with micro programming and cameras, film and photography, disaster immediate evacuation, and things like that. And then graduated up and became a 7-year resident association president, tenant association president for Grant. Created a $250,000 TPA for the people to have for the future, and also worked with CBA with the $3 million between Manhattanville and Grant, which we still have at least 1.2 million left. I was able to micromanage that and take Grant houses everywhere. See Aladdin King, Lions King, Aladdin, everything. We just did everything. We ate, we did everything. And I'm just
And
glad
that's from funding from that you sourced from the CBA?
you know, and I do party promotions, party productions, representative, I DJ, I just did a lot of stuff outside the circle and just brought it into, I was doing the resident association. Also built a radio station in Grant houses where all the politicians, everybody was there and stuff.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being here. We're happy to have you on our committee.
Thank you.
And especially if you've already, we were just, as you were signing on, we were just getting ready to end the meeting actually, but we were talking about the CBA and that we as a committee are going to sort of take a deep dive into that this year and figure out, we want to get all the benefits for our community that are possible to get while the funding is still there, while the time limit hasn't run out. And if you are very versed on that, we would love to hear, when we have this discussion next month, we would love to hear all of your wisdom.
That'd be great.
Okay, where were we on the agenda?
Well, I think you were, we added the 2 new items under old business, so we were
Yep.
gonna vote now on adopting the agenda, right?
And we did,
Yeah, okay, so that's,
and we don't have the minutes back because they just went to Youtha today, even though they were sent out in June. So we cannot adopt the minutes. And the last thing on the agenda is if there's no other business, anybody got any other business? Okay, we actually just need a motion to adjourn.
Don't move.
Is there a second?
hey,
Second.
Got the TV on.
It's been moved by Walter and seconded by Tina.
Yes.
We are adjourned at 7:21.
Have a
See
good
you on
night.
Thursday.
Thank
all right,
you.
thank you
See
all.
later.
y'all.
Yeah.
Next meeting is October 3rd.
Yeah.
I'll be on time.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, all the meetings on top of this one. It's unbelievable.